Are you a VIP? More importantly, are you a cybersecurity law firm of Texas VIP? What's VIP, you may ask? VIP stands for Virtual Information Protection. For those organizations that may not need a full time resource to handle their cybersecurity and privacy needs, they can hire the cybersecurity law firm of Texas on an outsourced basis to handle those needs. If you want to learn more, please click the link below. Everybody, and welcome to the blog today. Can't turn on the news, can't read an article without something in regards to the coronavirus. And unfortunately, you're going to listen to my blog, and I'm going to talk about the coronavirus, not necessarily in the virus itself, but what fraudsters and cyber criminals are out there doing in the name of or taking advantage of this current crisis that we're going under. To give you guys some tips on how to protect yourself or how to watch for certain things. And so we'll get into what they're doing and how you can now start to protect yourself. So of course, we phishing and malware distribution is so high right now, and what we're seeing is you're seeing phishing fraud and malicious domain registration. So when we start talking about what cyber criminals are doing, they're trying to trick you into giving your information up or infecting your computer with some type of malware or virus in order to get money, really, essentially, into or collect personally identifiable information about you. So, what we're seeing Word documents, emails from a WHO doctor, World Health Organization doctor, with a list of tips for you to do to protect yourself. We're seeing the map, the coronavirus infections map, people redirecting you from an official looking map to try to install malware. Of course, we talked about the Android malware, which is COVID lock, honestly, and that's the ransomware that it gets on your Android device. It locks your phone up, and then it asks you for ransom. And then we're seeing other apps, health related apps, like if you wanted to track your symptoms or something like that, and when you're downloading this stuff, it's only fraud, it's only collecting your information. And then you know what that so be aware and be wary of, like we talked about before, phishing and anything unsolicited that's coming into your inbox. And then we're seeing mobile threats. So we're seeing people sending you, unsolicited text messages, really anything that you can receive on a computer, you can receive on your mobile device. So be wary of that. Like I said, unsolicited types of things. There's also money mules. Now, this is for those that are newly unemployed that are looking to take care of their families, and this is an old scheme. Basically, what it does, and I saw this when I was within the FBI. They'll post on Indeed or a career builder or some other website saying, hey, you want to make some money, make some extra cash, sign up for this part-time job, and it's a fully remote opportunity. And what they want you to do is, they'll task you with to something to do, and they'll hire you or whatever. You may or may not give out personally identifiable information to get this job, or you're a volunteer or something like that. And then they'll say, okay, well, here's your payment for, I want you to start taking payments, or here's your payment for the job that you've performed, and you get to keep a percentage, right? You always be wary when they say they want to use your bank account to give you some money, and then take that percentage out and send them the rest, right, through Bitcoin or something like that. That's a fraud. That, for the most part, they're trying to launder money. So you're in a situation where you think you're getting a job, and you think that this is worth the risk, but eventually another version of that scheme is that you go to Western Union or something like that, you send that money off, and your bank releases, they send you a check, your bank releases that money based on the check that you've actually deposited into those accounts, not knowing that that check may be fraudulent. And then, they cash a check, you send the money through Western Union, then the check bounces and now you're overdrawn. So you just want to definitely be wary of all of those things, those types of schemes that are going on like that. And again, we talked about teleworking and we talked about VPN technology. And one thing I do want to add to my post, or to add to the understanding about VPN technology. VPN technology is not going to prevent a cybercrime from happening. You will still get email, and especially if you use your work email for different things, registrations or things like that. You could potentially still be on an email list and get an email, and you can still get infected on VPN and on your corporate network. So don't. VPN is essentially to try to, any type of communication that you're having over the internet, that's protected, but you can still get infected on VPN, or not on VPN. And then of course you have fake VPNs now, right? So you have to figure out which technology is real and which technology is not. Cyber criminals are putting up fake websites and fake VPN technology. All that we're seeing that in the wild as well. Um, Scams, just flat out fraud. So you'll get, whether it's, wherever you navigate to the internet, and I won't necessarily say it's Amazon, but if you're out there doing a search for mask, or you're out there doing a search for hand sanitizer or whatever, and you come upon a site that says they have them in stock, and then they say, okay, well, we're going to need payment before we send you those items. And you go out and you're unfortunately in a situation where you feel like you need to purchase these things, and there's an emergency created. You pay them and you never receive it. Those are still, schemes and scams that exist and have existed for years, but because we're in this heightened state, we could potentially be more susceptible to those types of activities. Flat out extortion. I think that you see cyber criminals out there trying to extort medical facilities, right? They're infecting medical systems that are already overwhelmed trying to treat this virus with ransomware, and then saying, hey, I need you to go ahead and pay me, or I'm gonna, lock up all your systems and you won't be able to provide any type of services to those in need. That again, we're seeing that out there in the wild. And even though you can never really take a criminal's word, even though there have been organizations saying that they are hacking organizations, cyber criminal enterprises that say they won't attack medical facilities. I mean, that you're relying on the word of a thief, and so you still have to practice those hygiene types of things. And of course, you have privacy and data protection. We talked about that. We talked about the site that Google was putting up, and they were collecting personally identifiable information from individuals. And, what we relax protections now, and it's going to be hard to put that rabbit back into the box once it's out, right? And then, of course, you have fake news. We are all susceptible, or have all been susceptible, or as a community have proven to be susceptible to fake news, because we're getting our information in different ways now. It's very easy to put out, very easy to put out fake news and start to now propagate that fake news through, likes and reshares, or whatever, having online trolls go out there, and, APIs that are literally just out there to just continue to get this information out there. And that we saw that in the election 2016. That's how we got, so to speak, our minds and things got changed just based on things that just were flat out untrue. And so you want to be careful. Some of the things that you can do is to stay aware. Get your information from reputable sources. Stay aware of what's going on out there. Be wary of any type of unsolicited contact you have that's coming in your email inbox. Watching these videos just to become aware of what's going on out there. Ask questions, and be skeptical of anything right now that actually has to do with COVID. are the coronavirus or going to new places because you're seeing a lot of new things coming up. Domain registrations. I know from an enterprise level, organizations can block those individual sites, meaning if you're logged into your VPN network and you're going through your enterprise network at work, a lot of the protections that your network security folks are putting in place could prevent those newly registered domains, prevent you from actually seeing or going to those sites. That's something that could be done on the at the perimeter. But if you're out there and you're just out there trying to survive and looking for a part-time job, be careful of anything related to helping out in this particular crisis, because you could be taken advantage of in that capacity as well. You guys just really, I'm going to try to move past this going forward, but just understand that I want you guys to be safe out there and be skeptical of everything. Okay. Have a great day. Bye bye. For those of you who are new to the blog, new to Mary Cheney, and you say, who in the world is this woman on here talking about this boring subject? Let me give you an introduction to my background. My name is Mary Cheney. Like I said, I own my own cybersecurity and privacy law practice in Dallas, Texas. That's why it's affectionately called the Cybersecurity Law Firm of Texas. I have an IT background. My undergraduate degree is in information systems. After undergraduate, I went to law school. It's a fascinating story. You have to look at the other videos on the channel to get the full story. I won't bore you guys with those details right now. But after undergraduate, I went to law school in Houston, Texas. I graduated, took and passed the bar, and went into the FBI. So I was a federal investigator for the FBI, where I investigated cybercrime. I did that for several years. I was able to serve as an information security officer for the FBI in Los Angeles. And then I started my first career as an entrepreneur. And I'm originally from Cincinnati, Ohio. Shout out to Cincinnati, Ohio. And I was back in Ohio, and I started my own consulting practice. And I was able to run that consulting practice for about 4 years before I ran out of money the first time. And then I went into corporate America. So I started my corporate journey. I spent times as an executive for GE Capital, Johnson & Johnson, as well as Comcast on the operations side. I never did practice law. Once passing the bar and going through the FBI, I started my career in the operations side, right? My corporate career on the operations side. So I was director of incident response for GE Capital. I was the director of the Security Operations Center for Johnson & Johnson, and had a stint with Comcast where I was in the global CISO's office. So much of my career up until, a few years ago was on the operations side, security operations side. So left corporate America to start my own law practice. I started my own law practice in 2018. And I only know cybersecurity and privacy. That's the only thing I've ever done. It's the only thing that I love to do. So I started my law practice, and I've been having a lot of fun. I moonlight as an adjunct professor with the University of Cincinnati, where I teach information security, cybersecurity courses. I also own my own nonprofit, where minorities in cybersecurity. You may hear me talk about that as well, where we try to create a leadership community for those that are entering cybersecurity, that are in cybersecurity, that are trying to get promoted in cybersecurity. So we provide a forum for them to map out their careers and move forward in this fascinating field. So I just wanted to take a little time out to give you a little bit of background about me, just in case you were wondering who in the world this woman was. Thanks again for listening to the Breach Whisperer blog, sponsored by the Cybersecurity Law Firm of Texas. Don't forget to like this post and subscribe to our channel so you can get updates of when we post new things on our channel. In addition, spread the word for me, right? Let's get out there and tell a friend, and so they can all become paranoid cybersecurity and privacy people. Don't forget, if you would like to connect with me on socials, you can connect with me on Twitter. At Mary N. Cheney. Use my middle initial always. For my nonprofit, Minorities in Cybersecurity, that is at Mike Leadership, and Instagram and Facebook at MN Cheney Law. And you can find me on LinkedIn just by searching for my name. So if you're interested, connect with me. Thanks again. And just remember, awareness equals knowledge.